Zangpo.
Shivane.
Kamrimo.
Jazalappa.
Chajalo.
Namaste.
And we are back.
Yeah, that was
With
quick. I
this-
didn't even finish my coffee.
With the second part. And so we've discussed the Saturday holiday cut. Withdrawal of the 4 days.
Rationing.
Saturday thing. We've discussed the enforcement drive. Is there anything left? We just went on a rant there about the checking going on.
Yeah. No, not
Yeah.
really.
I really wish I'll just maybe end this topic with this. I really wish the government, if they were listening to this podcast, which I'm sure they're not, but if they were, like, instead of doing bringing about these superficial changes of Saturday holiday and patani, all this bakwas, if they could truly simplify these kind of processes, whether it is trade license, whether it is driving license, whether it is the documents, like streamlining all these processes, and also like long term designing offices in a way that is
People friendly.
especially offices that interact with the people a lot, like the motor vehicle department.
It's scary, It's like the corridors are narrow, where you have to stand in line for the BRs and everything. Like, if you've got claustrophobia, you've had it. I don't know how those people sit inside those cages and work.
Cages, I know
they are like cages. They're like zoo displays because everybody's standing at the end, like staring at you. And if the printer is not working or the internet is not there, then you're just sitting there doing nothing, and like this army of faces in front of you because nobody wants to leave their spot. And I was just thinking, it's very crowded right now, but if there was an earthquake, like not a bring the building down kind of earthquake, but enough to scare you, the stampede, oh my God.
So the designing, those are long-term things, right? But for now, at least
open a tent outside.
Make it
Janta Mela type of thing.
Like, you just need 2 people, I think. If you were to do it, one person to just tell people what the documents, inquiry section jaisa, just to tell them what documents they require, and to also to tell people, some people I'm sure come with some documents but don't have some, so tell them, okay, ye hai aapke paas, you need these, go and get them. That person's job is that. The other person's job is to then properly check the documents, whatever, stamp, poem, jo bhi karna hai, wo khatam, right? Anyway, I just wanted to bring in this incident that our colleague Paru had mentioned last time about these cages wala design. It is not very safe.
When you're drawing cash?
Yeah, when you're drawing cash. Like in the SBS banks, I'm sure people who have gone there know.
Any bank?
No, not any bank.
Crowd. I mean,
no, but when
there's a long holiday coming up, everybody will be right. SBS, of course, big payments, government payments, yeah.
SBS is always like, there is always, most of the time there is like crowd, and then especially now, I think because of the BR katna hai itna sabko for the checking.
So you can do that. Every government office has a BR.
So what happened? She had recently gone to the SBS bank for whatever office related transaction, and then there was a crowd at the
probably the last working day, I think it was.
Yeah, they were withdrawing
before
money.
A long break.
So there was a lot of crowd, and cage like structure. They don't have a cage, they have glass, I think, now, but still it's like enclosed.
They'll still have this small thing through which you put your hand
and all that. So that kind of thing. And then somebody had
you get tokens. You put in a check and you get a token.
You put in a check, you get a token, and then you show the token and you get the amount, right? So somebody had withdrawn 1 lakh rupees, and so somebody put their hand in.
They called out the token number.
Called out the token number. Somebody put their hand in with the token number, took the cash and went, but it was not that person's cash. Wow. That person had actually withdrawn only around 20,000 something, I think she said. And nobody knew, because they don't even look up, they don't even check, they just they just give the cash and they went. And the person who actually had the token came and said, where's my money? And that girl, whoever was there, the worker was like, I already gave the money to you. He's like, no, I didn't take it. And then that person was gone, whoever took it. So that was like,
which is interesting. Given
very nice.
That whole digital India push of our Prime Minister Saab, people are still withdrawing that amount of cash.
Yeah, that Anyway, moving on to the next.
We're still on the topic that we said we'll end with the previous.
We've already spoken for 5 minutes, I think. So we'll move on to now getting into a little bit of politics. We'll talk about the recent hiring of, advisors and chairmans.
Appointment.
Hiring and appointment is the same thing.
Yeah, it's not like you sit for an interview.
So, Mr.
You just put your principles on
So, Mr.
stake.
Sonam Venchungpa, the
BJP MLA.
The SKM leader Sonam Venchungpa, who was given to BJP as a candidate who won from Martam Rumtek
as a BJP
candidate, has now been given the post of chairman Denzong Agriculture Cooperative Society.
Mm-hmm.
And
along with him. It's interesting. I mean, what is interesting about this whole thing is that there's been no official comment on it yet. The BJP has not issued a press release saying we congratulate our MLA and congratulate SKM government for appointing such a worthy person to chair Denzong Agriculture Cooperative Society. There's no squeak from them.
Yeah.
SKM has not issued any statement. Okay, SKM should not, but there's just a notification and that's it. And it is not just that's it. Because this signals more. I mean, he's a BJP MLA. So when a BJP MLA is given a chairman's post in an SKM government, does it signal that it's an alliance government now? Are they allies in the government? Are they you cannot just not say anything about it, right? I mean, BJP, it's a big deal. First time that BJP has MLAs, but first time that
an opposition leader is being given a
public office.
Yeah.
Yes.
By the
yeah, definitely something that and you got to understand the whole history of how chairpersons are appointed, right? Chairpersons have traditionally been political appointees that you give to your supporters and your loyalists as rewards. Posts have been created, chairpersons have been created to accommodate these people. So the silence on this whole episode is kind of
it is also interesting that Mr. Bhim Dungel, who was
Bhim Dungel?
Sorry.
GT
Dungel and Prasad, who were SDF, who had gone from SDF to SKM.
Jumped ship from SDF to SKM.
They have been given infrastructure. Dungel has been given infrastructure development and smart cities advisor. He's been made the advisor of whatever that is, and Prasad has been also made the advisor of the excise department. But the rest of the SDF families who jumped ship to BJP, there is no word on what their status is, right?
Yeah, they're BJP MLAs.
They're BJP.
These guys, these two are SKM MLAs.
Yeah.
Right.
Venchungpa is a BJP guy.
Yeah, of course.
So that's also weird, whatever is happening there, right?
But he's the only guy who won on a BJP ticket. The others BJP acquired.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then there are more senior people there. Yeah, of course. Venchungpa might be a BJP MLA, but he's essentially an SKM leader, right? So, but it is not just like you're giving a post to an SKM party worker. You cannot ignore the fact that he is a BJP MLA. And the moment a BJP MLA is made a chairperson, there has to be some statement. People need, you need to tell me, what does this signal?
No, I really
And please don't tell me that he's the best person for the job.
No,
he might be good, but that obviously is never the criteria.
I really don't understand what Mr. Venchungpa's status. I mean, I find it really weird. I mean, I wonder if he has identity crisis nahi ho raha hai. Like, I really don't understand what
goes through his mind.
What goes through his mind? Like, if he had stayed in SKM, he would have been a minister, right?
That is true.
But why was he given?
Or that was a deal that the party struck with BJP, right? I mean, that was a seat-sharing deal that the party struck.
I mean,
and he was a party loyal worker who did whatever the party
sacrificed for the party.
He didn't sacrifice.
He
became an MLA. Yeah, I mean, it is a sacrifice. We would have rather become an SKM MLA, right?
And a minister.
And then who would have definitely gone on to become a minister. He's been with SKM for a while. And so it's just so casual, no?
No, because has Venchungpa been with the SDF before?
No.
He hasn't.
He
no?
was with Congress.
Because there are some ministers in the SKM government right now who were in SDF before and jumped ship, right?
And ministers, they
and
were.
they have become and they've become a minister. They have been made ministers in this government also, right?
Who?
B.S. Pant, okay, I just
Okay, only
remember
one.
B.S. Pant. Only
What
one? Is
else?
there anyone else?
I don't think so. No, but see,
But I'm saying-
BS Pant won on an SKM ticket. It's not like he came over from SDF.
नहीं फिर भी वो तो very close to the elections he jumped ship to
Yeah.
SKM, no?
Yeah.
So comparatively, Wenjungpa
Yes.
deserves
Yes.
a minister portfolio, and was whatever sacrifice. I find it really I don't know why would anyone.
That was a deal. I mean, come on. It would be extremely naive to think that it was not a deal. Which worked in SKM's favor at many levels, right? I mean, they gave BJP a seat, but they retained who the representative was.
Party का बीच में जो भी है is I'm
for
not
his own
worried
political
for
ambitions,
his
yes.
Own.
Yes.
Why would you do that? Is what I'm saying. What if it said no?
Interesting.
There was no other candidate from any other party, right? There, Amartam Numtek mein. I mean, there were no strong candidates. Let's say SDF, but he was the only one else, right? I mean, who else could SKM if
Yeah,
he had
because
said,
he has been contesting from there for about 4 elections
yeah.
now.
So if he had said no and SKM said "ठीक है तुम जाओ," then who else would have SKM put in his place, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, so I just find that really weird.
Yeah, it is.
So that. Moving on to the next topic is the recent circular on all government accounts, not all government accounts.
All government accounts in private banks.
In private banks.
Private and nationalized
they
banks.
They haven't said that, but that's what it basically
what it means,
is. You have to be shifted to the Cisco bank.
Yeah.
Because some irregularities were noticed and they were not using the... No, that is different, no? Interest...
Accrued. Yeah, so the government accounts, given the volume, they must be attracting a substantial amount of interest, which it seems are not settled properly. Because these are... one has to understand which accounts the government opens in private bank, because government is supposed to have its... State Bank of Sikkim is the state bank. So you open bank accounts in these private and nationalized banks for projects for which funding comes from Delhi, and the transfer of money is wired to you. And the private and nationalized banks it was smoother with them than with SBS, which is a dinosaur. Or till quite recently was really a dinosaur in these things. It would take too long and whatever. Maybe the government of India didn't trust it enough for whatever reason. You opened accounts there. So when you have these project money parked in private banks, they attract interest. And as per the circular, this interest was not being settled properly by the departments. Because they were that money had come for a certain project and whatever. So now they've said that you have to shift all these accounts to Cisco. Which I think is essentially to keep Cisco alive, because the government has this system of... for instance, why should Simfit be supplying computers?
Yeah.
Right? The government gave it the monopoly to acquire computers for the state government offices so that it earned some money. Simfit is marketing federation for whatever, right? More agriculture than anything else.
Agriculture.
But it does computer supplies. So it is to kind of keep these organizations, give them some business, force feed them some business. So I think essentially it is that. And also it's a good move in the sense that the government recognizes that the huge amount of interest that must be collecting against projects are not being settled anywhere. And or are being diverted to other works and things like that. So just by way of counting, I think it's a good move. It didn't require them to put it to Cisco. They could have just kept them wherever their accounts were and just passed a notification saying that these have to be reflected in your accounts, documents or whatever. Are they related, these two?
They're in the same circular.
They're in the same circular. But I think for Cisco, it is essentially to kind of just give Cisco some business to keep it afloat.
No, you brought up that topic. We'd almost forgot about that news of the 1.7 crore advance that
The laptop supplies.
Laptop supply के लिए.
Yeah.
Who was it? Vijay Chamning.
Vijay Chamning, the CM's son.
Had taken and did not deliver.
Yeah.
So.
Which is not really a new trend, you know. The government departments have been stung in the past quite a bit by providing advances which were way beyond the profit that the contractor could have made from a particular project, and then just the contractor just didn't deliver because they'd already collected the advance. This had happened in the past, and the government departments had stopped issuing any advance for works after they had been stung. It had come up in CAG reports also, I remember, about 15 years back or whatever.
So what happens now?
But Simfed is not a completely government, it's a kind of public sector.
Like there is no way of retrieving that money.
Of course, there's a case happening now, and that is how it will play out. Case hoga. So it'll be interesting to see how it is played, how the case is framed. Is it going to be that you did not honor an agreement, or is it going to? Are they going to bring in criminal intent, where like you cheated and things like that?
Fraud.
So it will depend upon how they frame the case, and that will also decide the outcome. Because if you go really ambitious and make it a really big case with big allegations, it becomes that much more difficult for you to prove in court.
Yeah.
Whereas if you keep to the straight and narrow and
these lawyers who had been
public
prosecutors and legal officers also, I think, who had been discharged of their duties recently, last year. When was it? It was the end of last year only. And so now the government has hired hired new people in those posts.
Which is always obvious, right? That they wanted to kind of replace them.
Yeah. And there was also this circular
from the chief secretary.
From the chief secretary that you, I think, went through. I don't know much about that, so why?
It was this. What was surprising is that was a very that was a circular telling people what the hierarchy of government offices is and whose job. Essentially, telling heads of departments that this is your job, which they should have known for the past 30 years if they become secretaries now, right? It was very ordinary in that sense. Ki if you want to write to the chief minister, it has to be routed through the chief secretary, whether you are a principal secretary or whatever. If you are the head of a department, you are the secretary. I don't know, it was really weird. I couldn't understand. Either the bureaucracy really had forgotten what their basic role was, because that is what it spelled out essentially. That as an HOD, these are your responsibilities. Cabinet notings have to be sent in this manner, routed through the chief secretary. You cannot directly approach. A minister has responsibility for his department and the other things he can do. It is like bureaucracy 101, right? Which they should have known all along.
Yeah,
it was very routine. So, what was surprising for me was why had something like this to be issued?
Obviously, something was not being done.
Yeah,
properly.
And that is what would be interesting to find out from the corridors of power. Boss, who was messing up so phenomenally that these basics had to be spelled out?
Yeah. There is also this, I don't know how, the CM said that the casual workers with 8 years in service would be regularized.
Yeah, that was an announcement made. I thought everyone had been regularized by now and no one new had been appointed, but it seems this never ends.
No, I didn't understand,
those who completed 8 years in which year?
As of December 31st, 2019.
Yeah.
That's different, no?
Huh? That's different? Different from? No, the previous government had also been regularizing, remember, 5 years, 4 years, and they were kept kind of reducing it. So, yeah, so those have been...
8 years was never a criteria, no?
I think it began with that.
What?
Like when this regularization bit started, then 8 years, then you reduce it to 5 because 8 years ke pehle to sab ho gaye. So that must have taken 5 years to happen. So than 5 years or whatever. This regularization, yeah, it's, I mean, I don't know, because these are
I've
announcements.
just lost track now, like
How many people are getting regularized? Which years? Yeah. So there was this whole thing about the previous government not having kind of delivered on the promise of regularizing, and that many people got left out or whatever. And these regularizing things are also very interesting in the sense that there is this whole discussion you can have over, are they going to be regularized as government servants, or are they going to be regularized on the posts that they have been appointed in? Because these are like slightly different things. Because in the previous regularization bid also, people kind of were regularized at the step below their existing ranks and posts or whatever. So there is going to be a whole lot of confusion. These are always very difficult things. Complicated.
so.
Oh yeah, and that circular also said that to commit the government to any recurring expenses, you have to take the permission of the finance department. Recurring expenses would be like hiring people,
Okay.
even temporary. You would have to get clearance from DOP and finance and things like that, which I thought was like standard issue, right? I mean, that's how you do it.
And
But that's clearly not how you do it.
there is also that the CM finally accepting that a cancer hospital cannot come
Oh, that
up
was
in
wonderful, no? That
Toga.
yeah, I seen news reports on it that experts told them that. I could have told them that that Mindogang is not good enough. Like it just won't do as a.
I know.
Why did you need experts to tell you that? Yeah, they could have just asked me or anyone on the streets whether that made sense.
Yeah, so yeah, a lot of things. यही होता है ना कि
Saman Bhavan could make a very good banquet hall though.
it is already like a
But something that you hire out for marriages.
like ऐसे ही फेंक देते हैं ना politicians also know like people also like I think they know all this they'll just stay.
No, these things make sense. I mean, these things make political kind of. These are like jumlas, right?
Yeah,
As Amit Shah famously told us.
Yeah.
So these are jumlas. No one really expected. I mean, how would you like make Mindogang into a cancer hospital? If you're going to break it down and construct a new building, then why there? Why not anywhere else where there's more space and you could maybe take a walk in a garden and things like that? But yeah, I mean, no, what? I mean, they even said that these Fortuners will be made into ambulances.
कहाँ गए सच्ची में बोला था
तो auction हो गया ना?
Yeah.
Or maybe with that money they'll buy ambulances.
There is also that we were also missed out on this big topic, the Limbu Tamang seat issue, where the Limbu Tamang voluntary committee,
One of the groups, we don't know which group is what now.
LTBC, had
There's one group that is allied to SKM and one that is
allied to
clearly
SDF. So they had said ki why is the government now silent on this issue? They used it so much during the election time and had promised us that within 10 days of forming government they would give us the seats.
Yeah.
But now they're absolutely silent on it and we want to know what's happening. And they had accused the government of not
having a formula.
Not having a clear stand, and not bringing it up with the center. And even if they are bringing it up with the center, they are not giving them a formula. So how would the center take it seriously?
Yeah, I think it's important for the SDM government to say, okay, this is how we propose the Limbu Tamang seat should be given, and then stick that line. I mean, to SDF's credit, they had a formula, right?
Yeah.
They wanted it to be at 40, increase the strength to 40, whatever. SKM keeps saying that we want Limbu Tamang seats, but has not come on, and they'll also say within the 32.
Yeah.
And someone should just take that argument further and say, okay, you want it within the 32, 13 are already reserved, 15 are already reserved, 12, 13, 2. 15 are already reserved, and given the proportion of the Limbu Tamang population, these seats will be 5 or 4 seats. That's the end of it, right? You give your formula and see if that sells.
And they had
because there's no other way.
LTVC had also pointed out that they had the two SKM MLAs who were there in the previous government. I mean, under during the SDF regime, there was Kungani Malipcha and
who were MLAs.
Who were MLAs
SKM MLAs.
SKM MLAs in the assembly. They had said they had opted for this 32 में ही LT seats देंगे, and they had brought in a private member bill also, and they had. So why are they not bringing that up now that they have their own government in place? This is what they had questioned. Very valid questions.
Yeah, I think.
But there has been no response.
Specifics. I think they have no. Yeah, that's the other kind of option that you can take in Sikkim, right?
Just keep quiet.
You just ignore it for a while, and then people will move on to something else. But for the Limbu Tamang seats, I would say that fine. I mean, you should just say, okay, you want it within 32. I'll lay out the maths for you, right? There are 32 seats, 12 reserved for BL, 1 for Sangha, 13, 2 for scheduled castes, 15. You're left with 16 seats in the general category. How many seats do the Limbu Tamang need? Out of 32, 5, 4, whatever. 4. So now you have 19.
More than half reserved.
19 seats reserved. And this is the formula we're going to go with. And then say if the people buy it, if the people are okay with it. If the people are okay with it, I mean, it's your government.
Yeah.
And you cannot just say ki, what political parties have been doing for such a long time, right? They will not commit to any number, but they will demand this mathematical impossibility that you cannot touch the BL seats, you cannot touch the already reserved seats, you cannot touch the majority community ka hissa. Like, really, like it will be then have to be something like the government department office rooms, right?
Yeah.
So between 13 and 14, we'll have 2 more Limbu Tamang seats, which don't really count, but it will be there. Like, I know what they're saying. So I think it's time. I think if SKM kind of came up with a formula now, and there should be no shame in accepting what the previous government had also proposed, right?
Yeah.
Just run with that. Anything. Because if you begin now, maybe by the time the next elections roll around, you would have worked out the way these seats could be given. You cannot just endlessly delay it. It's not fair.
It's not fair for anyone. It's going to be, I feel like it.
It might still not happen. It's still in the hands of Delhi, right? Yeah. I mean, Delhi might still say, "Acha yaar, ye to possible hi nahi hai. Chalate karo," or whatever. Then you come up with some other arrangement, right? Yeah, there are other arrangements. Like one of the arrangements that I found good was for all the political parties to come together and say, okay, all of us will give 5 tickets or 4 tickets to Limbu Tamang communities from these constituencies. Right? From these 5 constituencies, we'll all field Limbu Tamang candidates so that irrespective of who wins or who forms the government, you are ensured of this many number of Limbu and Tamang representatives in the assembly.
Yeah.
Till the seats come, till the kind of delimited reserved seats come, I think this is the only working solution you have. And I think what every Limbu Tamang association, organization, leader should be doing is pushing for this. That if you want Limbu Tamang votes, I don't want 6 seats, I don't want 10 seats or whatever. I want all of you to come together and decide on 4 or 5 or whatever is the number that works for you. Constituencies that you're going to set. Every political party is going to field candidates from only these constituencies. I think that's the only way to go.
Yeah. It's a very doable.
And it's practical. And now is the time, right? You do it now before that whole rush of elections comes around and everybody hates each other, right?
Yeah. Yes, and on that very positive note, I think we should say
bye for now.
Bye for now. Is there anything else that you would like to bring up?
No. Happy Maghe Sankranti.
Very happy Maghe Sankranti we didn't discuss, but
like,
there's nothing to discuss.
Oh, but we should discuss it. Like, where's the traditional Maghe Sankranti still celebrated? But anyways, that's for another time.
And we will hopefully soon come out with the look back
at 2019.
Thank you very much for listening to the